and you can send the media to me.
We're on.
We're on. Hi, Lou.
Ingrid.
Lou and Ingrid show. It's back, just not live because technical problems.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it is the start of Mercury retrograde today.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Once again, Mercury is the is the kicking,
Yeah, well, it's Mercury's communication in the mind, of course, and I think it's in Pisces, so it's meant to help us really bring up our emotional stuff. One more time, and be creative. Yeah, tap into our creativity.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's
since we're all Mercurial Piscean, let's ground in. I think you mentioned earlier you're not buried in your body. You had a kick-ass healing. I can't wait to hear more about that. And then why don't you open us up with a prayer and then we'll dive in.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So
thank you.
I'll do the grounding part.
Okay.
That's my Jake.
Yes. Right. Please.
Let's all close our eyes. Take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel the energy pool in your root chakra. And maybe it'll feel warm or tingly, or you'll just be aware that it's happening. On your next inhale, take a deep breath in and pull the energy from your root into your heart. Exhale and hold the energy in your heart. Inhale and pull the energy from your heart into your crown. Exhale and hold the energy in your crown. Inhale and pull the energy out of your body. Feel it connect with divine source energy. And with the out breath, pull that energy back into your body and into your heart. Breathe in and hold the energy in your heart. Breathe out and pull the energy down to your root. Breathe in and hold the energy in your root. Breathe out and push the energy down your legs and into your feet. Breathe in and hold the energy in your feet. Breathe out and push the energy into the earth. Feel that energy hook in with the earth's core and take a deep breath in and pull it back up towards your feet. Exhale. Inhale and feel the energy hit the soles of your feet and move up your legs and pull again in the root chakra. And exhale into your root chakra. All right, Lou, over to you.
Thank you, hon. So we just take another beautiful breath. We give thanks for this time together. We come together as equals with gifts to give and receive. Father, Mother, God, indwelling holy presence. We bless everyone that we're blessed to work with and to be on this journey with in this lifetime, knowing that everyone is going through great change, deep change, powerful change. And we're here for that, and we're here with that. To hold that sacred space in our hearts to love and support, and when we can, to guide and empower those that are reaching deeper into their own true connection to all that is. The love and light of all that is as us shines and pours forth into our lives and into our work and into our dreams and desires, into our family and friends, into every part of our lives. Father, Mother, God, we are so grateful for moments such as this. We give heartfelt and sincere thanks. We bless this moment. We let it be. It is so, so it is. And together we say, Amen.
Amen. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, hon.
Do you feel a little more in your body?
Oh, it's been not a little bit, yes, but it's all still swirling. I did an interview with an English teacher, Angelic Jeanette, and she's been connected to spirit her entire life since the age of 3. And she's been seeing spirits and talking to spirits and taking up on ships. And she's something else. I have to connect the two of you. And
Oh yes,
yeah,
please do. That's great.
sure. Joanne and I met her at Glastonbury, and we've been trying to talk for months. And today is the day it finally happened. Tomorrow happens to be her birthday. She says she's a triple Aquarius. Which is pretty intense, pretty powerful. But yeah, her conversation was amazing, and the healing was just,
Oh, fantastic!
out. Yes,
Fantastic.
yes. Thank you. So that was. I'm still processing all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Good. This is a really good time to ask you then, what cool shit have you got going on that you want to tell us about? What are you doing? What are you up to? What are some events or projects or services? What's going on? What's cool?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you. Marianne Adams and I are doing the Artist's Way, and we started that last week, and we're both really inspired about that. She's an art teacher and a professor of art therapy at one of the big galleries here in Ireland. And Joanne and I are doing the Recovery as a spiritual path, 12 steps and beyond. And that's been good. We started the podcast with that on Anchor. So we've done 2 of those together. And then just, rocking with everything else. It's been a challenging time for me, honestly. I'm sure it has been for a lot of people. Just really digging deep. I think I shared, between Anthony, Jeanette, and another friend here, Jane, who's another healer in Ireland who has a crystal skull. Jeanette also held up a crystal skull today. Just a lot of love, support, energy, healings, wisdom have been coming in the last few days. And here you and I are hanging out, which is a lovely thing as well. So that's my story. Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, that sounds really cool. The Artist's Way, I've heard nothing but good things about the Artist's Way. I've also heard it's intense. It really digs deep going through it. But I've heard nothing but good things about it. And the Recovery is a spiritual path. I mean, we've been talking about that forever. I'm so glad that you and
Joe.
Joanne, I kept going, Penny, Josh, I like 4 different names coming to me. I was like, wait, I know her name. You and the beautiful, fabulous, and amazing Joanne, who I adore, and I can't wait to meet properly. Actually, you as well.
Yes.
Are doing the Recovery as a spiritual path, and that's something that we have talked about and are going to implement into the Baba ministry as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's very, very cool. I mean, recovery. This actually came up recently within the Baba community. And just to back up a little bit here, the Baba Spiritual Mission is a not-for-profit organization that aims to help people find their spiritual authority and build their leadership platform and take their message out into the world. So we have a school that we run, and because we're legally structured as a church, we will ordain you as a minister at the end of your program. It's an 18-month program. You can also apply to join a 9-month fast track, more intense program. That's our leadership group. But that is, that's for the spiritual boot camp, spiritual teacher boot camp. And what came up recently was struggles with addiction and how very prevalent that is within the spiritual community, in the spiritual world. So many of us, you, Lou, and me, and a lot of people even in the Baba community, in my little microcosm, have battled their addiction demons and maybe are still working through the addiction process. And my understanding from spirit about addiction is it's a wide opening to spirit. That's why we have these intense addictive traits, is because we're trying to fill this giant void inside of us, and it's calling for spirit. It's calling for spirit. The people who wrestle with addictions are really here to fill themselves up with spirit and take spirit out into the world. But until they understand what they need to fill that hole, we just try and fill it with whatever we can get a hold of: drugs, alcohol, sex, shopping, whatever it is. It's just gimme. I still do it with like Facebook. I'll see myself trying to fill a hole like getting really weirdly addictive around my phone, and my family will start to like, you know, my son like, Mom, get off your phone. I'm just coming from my teenager, right? That's how
Sure,
bad it can get.
sure. Well, your kids will tell you where you need some help. Sure, of course.
Yeah,
Bless them.
really.
Bless them.
Yeah, but that's what that is, and that's why I think recovery as a spiritual path is so important, because that's what gets you sober,
Sure,
is
sure,
finding your spiritual foundation again.
sure.
It's not any particular method. It's wherever you can connect with your spirituality that
Right.
will get and keep you sober.
Right, right, honey. Yeah, no, I'm on Facebook all the time. So I raise my hand as
You
well.
and me are pretty terrible like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going, how can I make this work? How can I reach more clients? How can I share more love? You know, all of those good questions.
Yeah.
Uh,
All the
and,
things.
yeah, and but sweetheart, you know, yeah, it just feels like this decade that we're just starting is just really like, you know, game on. Like everyone, you know, you have got to really come from the deepest part of yourself and know how to connect to the deepest part of yourself, and you know, continue to acknowledge, surrender, and release those things that no longer serve you. And
Yeah.
you know, and of course, the world there. Back in my bookstore days, Ingrid, there was a book called When Society Becomes an Addict. And it is basically the idea that the current Western model that we all live in is a very addictive society, you know, with between
Interesting.
advertising and drinking and drugs and all the other distractions. And, you know, you've really, most people, I mean, you and I bottomed out. That's how we got the will to turn around. And that's usually the way it works for most people. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to tell your story, but I know we've talked enough. So I think that's a fair statement. And like you say, even people that are on the path of service and spiritual awakening, there's tremendous pain, fear, anxiety, confusion, stress. And, you know, people, if we don't have healthy ways to deal with things, then we will find an unhealthy way, of course, because we have to cope with our stress.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we will find a coping mechanism. And so for a while, the unhealthy coping mechanism works, which is why we keep doing it. Oh, okay. I got a drink at the end of the day. I feel so much better and relaxing. You know,
Right.
oh, I just bought myself a new pair of shoes. I got a little pick me up. I feel like I have some energy again, you know? But it's when those coping mechanisms stop working and start working against you that you have to find a new one. And that's the gift. You know, anybody who hits rock bottom with their addiction has been given us the ultimate spiritual gift, because there's no way to go
Right.
but up.
Right.
And that's when there's the opportunity to step into divine purpose. Addicts, I remember, you know, the first time I went to an AA meeting, I had been sober a couple of days.
Sure.
And I figured I was going to be able to just, you know, tough it out on my own. But after a few days, I was losing my shit. You know,
Sure.
I was just like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do this on my own. I have to find some support.
Sure.
And for me, if you knew me at the time, I wasn't very good about that. So it was kind of a big deal that I actually went on Google, looked up AA meetings in my area,
Right.
and found one that I drove to and stumbled to. And by the grace of motherfucking God,
Yes.
it was a beginner's meeting. I mean, it was so, oh God, it was just so divine.
Yeah.
So divine. I had no idea what I was walking into. I didn't know it was a beginner's meeting. I just randomly picked one off the page and went there because that's
Sure.
all I could do function-wise.
Sure. Sure.
And when I got there, it said, "Oh, this is the beginners meeting," and I went, "Really?" That was good because I didn't know anything about AA or the, you know,
I'm
the
a
12
beginner.
steps.
Yes.
And I remember, you know, even this is before I was in spiritual work, but this was me rediscovering my spiritual foundation. You know, I started out in 12 steps because I had to get sober because I hit rock bottom.
Sure.
And they all went around the table. The topic was why. What happened? That was the topic. What happened? You know, what was your rock bottom? And everybody, I listened to, it was a huge group of people. It was down in Culver City, you know, in Los Angeles, and
Right.
a huge group of people, and they just went around and they talked about what happened. And they all had a different story, and they all had the same story, and they all had my story. And I went, oh, they're just like me. Notice I didn't say, oh, I'm just like them. I was like, oh, they're like me. The thinking at the time. But
Sure.
as I got to know this group of people, it became, you know, my home group. I was there for a year. I was very committed to going, and it was so helpful, so helpful. In the end, I expanded outside of the rooms of AA because I needed more
Sure.
spirituality in my
Sure.
life, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember looking around at this group of sober people one day and thinking, these are the most powerful people I've ever met. The tremendous strength, the courage to tap out and say, I cannot do anymore and I have to change my life. The courage to change your life to that degree, from addiction, the throes of your addiction, to getting sober and building a completely new life. I mean, getting sober means redefining everything. The people who you spend time with, your activities, your thinking, your feeling, all of it. It takes a special, powerful human, and the people who are addicts, who have that shadow side of them, they embody that strength. They can all do it. We
Yeah.
can all do it because we have that inside of us,
That's
but because we have the addiction piece.
right. And you won't find a funnier group of humans on the planet, or a more unpretentious and undefended group of humans on the planet.
Yeah.
They're really walking the talk, and they're really living the truth as they've come to discover it through pain and struggle and death and rebirth, basically.
Yeah.
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 Well, when we talk about people in the spiritual community still struggling with addiction, I mean, that's that, of course, that really moves me, because I mean, I've told you the story. I was in Arizona somewhere, and after I'd started studying and opening to channel in my awakening and whatnot, and I had a native woman work with me, and she said, you have to now make a choice. You either are going to get high or you're going to be a channel, but you can't do both. And that was the easiest choice of my life, really, even though, of course, there have been days when, it gets tough. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what comes up for me occasionally. Now I'm going to be, hang on,
7 years.
Yeah, I was like counting on my fingers. I'm going to be 7 years sober in July.
Brilliant.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. And I think about it, and I realize, like, I could, if I wanted to, start drinking again. But you know why I don't want to do that? Not because I'm afraid of it, because I don't want to mess up my stream.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to get in the way. This is life. Divine spirit is life.
Yes.
Why would I want any other spirit, like alcohol, muscling in there and contracting my vibration? I know exactly what would happen if I started drinking again.
Sure.
I may or may not go over the edge. Probably would, because I still don't see the point of only one drink.
Well, one is too many and 1,000 isn't enough, sweetheart. That's my favorite alcohol.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's how I always check myself, like how I know I'm still, I mean, I have that wide opening to spirit, which results in addictive behavior when I am not living my spiritual authenticity. And
wow,
so
that's powerful. Yeah, I relate to that. That's powerful.
When I think about, oh, could I have just one drink? Immediately my brain goes, yeah, but why? What's the point? I mean, if you're going to drink, you're going to drink, like, let's do it. So then I go, nope, still don't moderate well. Not going to play.
Right.
It's going to mess with the mojo.
Yes, yes. Well, yeah, and the energies just keep ratcheting up little bit by little bit every day, and some days are really wild. We've had in Ireland and the UK, we've had a solid 7 or 8 days of howling wind and pouring rain, off and on. Yeah, it's the biggest storm of the winter, and flooding in the UK, and all sorts of intense energy. So again, it's just, it keeps like when the fires were happening in California, you're just in this environment, and you just have to keep processing what the environment is pulling out of you, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And life is doing that, of course, to everyone to some degree, and we know there's the human and there's divine, and until they begin to meet and work with each other and understand that both parts are needed and real and valuable, there's just all this uncertainty and chaos. So, we're so blessed, as we've said, hon, that, we know how to go to that place inside of us to surrender and to ask for help.
Yes, we are blessed.
Or turn to others and do the same.
Yeah. What I'm really discovering about energies, the global energies, the soup in the sky, the way that it affects us and bats us around or doesn't bat us around, um, the energies around us pull out of us the energies that it needs to, that are ready to be healed, that are ready to be, I should say, acknowledged, felt completely, and released, letting go. Healing is kind of a shorthand, I guess, for what I mean when I'm saying that.
Sure.
So, when you're talking about what's going on over in the UK with the weather, well, energy is made physical, right? So feeling into that, it's like, what a cleansing experience. What a cleansing experience. It feels like, and I don't know enough about this to really talk about this, but it feels like symptomatic or coming up on the tail of some political stuff that's been happening over there in the UK.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like Brexit, the exit from the EU. They have this storm coming in, and it's like washing it away, washing it clean, cleaning it out. Now, I am not a fan of England removing itself from the EU because I am an English citizen, and that means that I can no longer live anywhere I want in the EU. So that annoys me, but that's a very personal thing. Politically, I don't have any. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're right on it. I mean, it's honestly, it's a bit like our friend Trumpy. There's a lot of uncertainty for a lot of people because things, old traditions keep getting thrown out the window, and great new and terrible new ideas keep being introduced. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Coffee time.
Thank you, honey. Nice.
That's great.
Did you close the curtain?
Yeah.
No, that curtain right there. That's right there. You're good. And that door. Thank you, baby. Oh my God.
Hey, Turner.
He was so cute. He went to the store to get coffee and a croissant, and he came in, and he was so quiet. I barely heard him come in. I've never experienced that with my boy before.
Well, that's great. That's great.
He got me a chai tea latte. I love him.
Excellent.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's lovely. I appreciate sharing that moment with you. And, Turner's someone I look forward to getting to know at some point here.
Me too. I think God, I'd just love to introduce you to. I gotta figure out how to get me and him over to Ireland, over to England, over to that side, like fairly soon. It's got to happen. I'm feeling excited about that. Now, I want to come back. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I want to bring us back to the world craziness. You're talking about traditions going out the window, new and terrible things showing up, some new and really wonderful things showing up. This is a time, just energetically speaking, and I am not talking about politics. I'm not talking about supporting or not supporting. I'm saying, whoa, there is some major destruction and major cleansing happening on a global level. And it's really strongly reflected in politics. And it's very much occurring with everybody I know on an individual level. I mean, personally the last 6 months or so have been some of the most intense, dreadful, emotionally insane months of my life. And as I'm coming out the other side, oh my God, Lou, I'm a new person. I am so much more present. I'm in my body. I'm operating in love. My fear is like melting away. And it was just this incredibly cleansing experience, which actually, side note, that's a big part of why the Lou and Ingrid show went on hiatus for a little while, because Ingrid was barely functional for a minute. But I'm back.
Wonderful.
And, so while we can get into our fear brain and we can lament and we can freak out and stress out about the political climate all over the world, and there are things that are not very nice. They're uncomfortable. They're ugly. They're showing some nasty scaly bits. But when you tap into the energy, and I want to encourage everyone listening to get out of your head, all right? Stop thinking about what's going on and whether it's right or wrong, or you agree or you disagree. That doesn't matter. Drop the energy from your head and drop it into your body. And feel the energy, just of the vibration of it, without having to understand it, without having to label it as right or wrong or good or bad. And you can start to feel what that vibration really is. Do you feel that, Lou?
I'm just aware of the energy, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What's it saying to you? What is it telling you about the energetic state of the world right now? How is this working in our favor is the question I want to ask, because when you tap into the energy, you can feel that.
Yeah, well, it's forcing us to be real with ourselves, and be on.
Yeah. It's forcing out our authenticity, no
Yeah,
longer covering it up with traditions or the
yeah,
way it's always been done
yeah,
or cultural history or family history. No, it is boom. Those tethers are being severed.
yeah,
And that's massively freeing. We are entering a new level of freedom. And it's going to be a messy process on the way there. It just is. But if you can hang on to that faith, that inner knowing, that dim light, that little tiny light at the end of the tunnel, somehow, some way, this is working out for your highest expression, for your favor, then whether it's politically or personally, you can get through anything because it always is working out.
yes,
Always.
yes. No, I absolutely agree with that. That was beautiful, hon. Yeah, what I feel is honestly, my heart is just really open after this healing today.
Mm-hmm.
And she like took me up into the outer regions with all the guides and the crystal temples and Merkabas and the great central sun and things like this, which I hadn't experienced, in that way ever before. And like yourself, she's extraordinarily tuned into the energies,
Yeah.
and it just I'm like tingly from head to toe, basically, just tapping into that. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, of course, we're going to have to go through it, and we signed up for this, and we've been preparing, throughout this and other lifetimes. Abraham says you've prepared thousands of lifetimes for the energies of this time. That was literally one of their quotes. So,
Wow.
yes, that's pretty powerful. So, and they say, don't wait. This is your time.
Yeah.
Awaken.
Amen to that.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, I don't think there's ever been a time where it's more critical to be grounded in your body than with the energetic madness and chaos that is happening right now in
mm,
your own personal life and in the world being reflected on the political stage.
hmm,
There's no more important time than to honor yourself, your body, your feelings, to be totally as present as you possibly can be. That's
yeah,
what's going to get us all through it. And not only, I don't want to say get us all through it, it's just going to help us thrive through it. And the people that are here to do that important work, to help be a guide, to be a leader, to be a messenger, to be a light worker, those are the people who are, I'm starting to see it all over the place. People are going, oh no, we got to get back into the body. It's not so much about like, woo, up here in spirit, which is great. That's lots of fun. Don't get me wrong. But I think everybody, all of us are feeling that need. Whoa, we better ground this in. We got to get real hunkered down in the body, tap into Mother Earth, because she will carry us through everything. And that's what grounding is matching your energy to the Earth's energies. When you
sure,
match that, it's like, okay, you can kind of weather anything when you're grounded.
sure, sure. Yeah, no, 100% agree. The higher we want to go, the more grounded we need to be, and it's always
Yeah.
about balance and harmony. And of course, this is the teachings from all the indigenous cultures of the planet. You know, they are on the earth, sacred, and then when they want to take a spirit journey, they know how to come back to themselves afterwards. Yeah,
Mhm.
they have a
Yeah,
place to
baby.
return to. Coolness, coolness. Well, what else is happening? You've got your retreat coming up on Wowie Maui.
Yeah, baby. Oh my God, I'm excited to talk about this. All right. So I am taking a somatic healing journey to Maui in May. I am leading a group of people there. We're going to do 4 weeks of healing work together virtually, like over Zoom video. And then we're all going to congregate on Maui for a long weekend and to restore, to integrate, and to break open. Do the healing work on our way there, so to speak, and
Yeah,
then really crack open when we get there. We're going to include, it's going to be wholesome meals, community prepared meals, which are really, so grounding and so creative. It's such a way to get into presence. It's such a way to bond over not just eating a meal, but preparing a meal as well. Sky Birdsall is going to help me co-facilitate the retreat portion of it. So she's going to bring in yoga nidra, trauma for yoga. We're going to have singing. We're going to have readings. We're going to have energy work. I'm going to help people really understand energy and play with energy in their body and their intuition and understand their intuition. I mean, it's just going to be a delectable weekend. And leading up to it, you get me for 4 weeks working with you on your healing journey. Whew. We did one in Grass Valley in October. Grass Valley is where I am. Yeah. And it was a remarkable experience. It was a remarkable experience for me, but it was also a remarkable experience for the 8 people who came as well. People were able to crack open in a way that they hadn't before because they did somatic renewal work with me beforehand. And then by the time we got to the retreat, everybody was already connected. There was a community, there was a container of faith and trust. And so they had the opportunity to get into this really creative space, which is what we're going to do in Maui, and get this creative space, get present, get into their practice, and get that not intense, it's not the right word, that deep nurturing that we all really need. We all need that deep nurturing, and we don't give it to ourselves. We don't get it enough. And that's the opportunity I found at the retreat in Grass Valley. People were just, once we got there, after doing that 4 weeks together, it was like, oh my God, life-changing. Absolutely life-changing.
Wow.
So having done that in Grass Valley, I'm going to Maui. And actually, I want to tell the story real quick, if it's okay with you, how this came to be. You can't make this stuff up, right? So a couple months ago, I'm sitting in meditation, doing my morning meditation. I'm just emptying my mind, and I'm breathing. And all of a sudden, Sky's face pops into my head, and Maui. And I knew she was in Maui, and Sky was in Maui. And then I got the word retreat, and I went, retreat in Maui. Maybe. We'll see if that, materializes. So I finished my meditation and I go to check my phone, my latest addiction. And there's a message from Sky. And she says, hey, Ingrid, I just heard about this retreat center that has some dates open this spring. Do you want to do a retreat in Maui? I said, yep. Apparently I do.
Yes, that's divine timing. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was divine timing.
Beautiful.
So that was really, really cool. And then I have some other things going on too. I have I started doing a monthly, I'm launching a monthly intensive 2020 vision for your 2020 mission locally in Grass Valley with a woman named Carrie Romano Zoll. And we're going to be spending a weekend with people, helping them really crack open and prepare to implement their vision for 2020. Right. The people who know that, okay, 2020 is the year when I'm stepping up and stepping out and I'm blossoming. So we're coming together. She's really big on positive empowerment. And she's a positive empowerment coach, and she's wicked at the law of attraction and manifesting. I mean, you just watch this one like, oh, you got it nailed, girl. And I'm coming in with the helping people understand the energy and the intuition, and do the channeling and do some of that somatic work, so we can just get into our body and process some of that, really feel some of those feelings. Mm-hmm. Those are the two things that I've got going on. Of course, the Baba mission is always what I'm working on, the ministry. We do have openings for the ministry coming up in March, open enrollment, 1st through 5th of March.
Okay, brilliant. And honey, talk a little bit about somatic, what somatic is.
Oh yeah, thank you. So somatic renewal is the healing modality that I was gifted from Spirit. And I didn't talk about it very much until I tried it with some people. And the results have been mind-blowing. People are taking these long-held traumas and sabotages and wounds and they're releasing them for good. It's a very simple process, but it takes vigilance, because a lot of us have layers of stuff. But if you're vigilant with this very simple process, you can find yourself releasing stuff that you carried for years that you have had no other way to let go of. So it's based on understanding triggers and stories and using the body as a container to move through that shit. Okay. So a trigger is an over-the-top emotional response to a situation, right? So somebody on Facebook makes a snarky comment and you just blow up, right? I mean, who cares what the person on Facebook says, but it's a trigger. So you're having an over-the-top emotional response. What that trigger is trying to do is get you back into an emotional experience that came up for you at some point in your life that you would not or could not feel at the time. Right. So maybe you didn't know how to feel it. Maybe you didn't want to feel it.
Yeah.
Maybe you're told you couldn't feel it.
Yeah,
Whatever it is, you went, stuff it, move it away.
Right.
So the trigger is in service to you. It's trying to get you back into that emotional experience, because we are here for the whole spectrum of the human experience. And when you let yourself have every possible feeling as it comes up, that's where you find God. Right there. It's just room in every experience and every emotional experience. But, you know, we're humans, so we're like, nope, don't like that. So that's what the trigger is trying to do, is get you back into that experience, because that original emotional response never goes away. Never. It gets lodged, stuck in your body.
Right.
So what is the story? The story is your ego's attempt to keep you out of your emotional experience. So the story is that asshole on Facebook. I'm going to give it. It's taking all of that and creating this mental loop and throwing it outside of you. They're discharging as much of it as it can, because it's afraid. It's like, feels like life or death to go into the body to have the full emotional experience. So what we do with somatic renewal work is, you know, we can't really be expected to just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to feel all of that trauma right now. Yeah, I'm just going to feel that. Our brain won't let us do that. So what we do is we identify the trigger, we identify the story, and then we take the story, we're just going to put it on the shelf. We can take it off later if we want, but we're just going to put it on the shelf. And then we use the body as a container to move through the layers of emotions until we get to the bottom of that emotional experience. And we go through different layers, different emotions. And once you get to the bottom and you feel it completely, poof, it's released. And that trigger, it goes away. It doesn't come up anymore.
Wow. Brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like it. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
So that's the work that, the one-on-one work that I do with people. I do one-on-one packages. I only work with one person per month for 4 weeks, because it's, I need to pay that much attention to the person who I'm working with. And then I'll be doing more with the somatic journey. And I work with the leadership ministry as well. Yeah.
Cool, hun.
Thanks for asking. I love to talk about this now. Like, oh yeah, let me tell you the cool things.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm happy to hear all that. Thank you. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to chitty chat about?
Honey, we could chat for hours, but let's not, because nobody's attention span is that long, least of all mine. Okay. So let's shelve the rest of all the goodness until next week.
Sounds good.
And
sounds good.
Do you want to just tell people where they can find you real quick?
Sure, sweetheart. Thank you. I'm at loumartin.org or Lightheart 2012 on Facebook or Awakened Spirits Network.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you can find me and my stuff at ingridhturner.com. Don't forget the H in the middle. And you can learn more about the organization that I founded, the Bhava Spiritual Mission, at bhavamission.org. That's BHAVA mission, as in I'm on a mission.org.
Yes, and here's to our Bhava Mission stuff together all those times. It's been brilliant. I look forward to the next chapter on that journey with you as well.
Me too, babe. Me too. We've done some amazing work with the leadership ministry together.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun to see how that all unfolds. So if anybody has any questions for us or would like to inquire further about anything at all, message this page. And also what's coming up, we'll probably talk about it next week. Lou and I are cooking up some stuff that we're going to do together. We have something around couples, one-on-one sessions, conscious relationships. We're playing with it. If you have any suggestions and you want anything in particular, we are all ears. Yes, Lou?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right. Yeah. You wonderful human. I absolutely adore you.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Love you. Okay.
Love you.
You did it. Peace and blessings. Talk to you soon, sweetheart. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye for now.